Imagine trusting your own child with your money, only to find out they've taken it all. That's what happened to Ellen Davis, a 72-year-old grandmother from a quiet Florida neighborhood. But Social Security stepped in to help her rebuild her life. Stay with me to hear how she fought back and how you can protect your own check if something like this happens to you. Ellen Davis was the heart of her little community in Tallahassee, Florida. At 72, she had soft white hair, warm brown eyes, and a smile that welcomed everyone. She lived in a small house filled with photos of her kids and grandkids, where she spent her days tending to her roses and baking cookies for the neighbors. Her husband passed away years ago, and her son, Mark, 45, had moved back home after a tough divorce. Ellen trusted Mark completely. "He's my boy," she'd say, letting him handle her bills and her Social Security check, the monthly money. She got to help pay for food and her medicines. But one day, Ellen noticed something was wrong. She went to pay her electric bill and found her bank account nearly empty. She asked Mark about it, and he got quiet, then made excuses. When she checked her records, she saw the truth. Mark had been taking her Social Security checks money, meant to keep her safe, and spending it on himself. Her heart broke. The roses in her garden started to wilt because she couldn't afford water, and she wondered how she'd make it through the month. Ellen had always thought of her Social Security check as a steady friend, like a warm blanket on a cold night. It was money she earned from years of working at a grocery store, and now it was supposed to help her in her later years. But when someone steals that money, especially family, it's a deep hurt. Ellen didn't know it then, but Social Security has ways to protect people like her, like reporting theft and getting replacement checks. Could this system she'd relied on for years save her now? This wasn't just about losing money. Ellen felt betrayed by the son she'd raised, the one who used to run to her with scraped knees. Her grandkids stopped visiting because Mark made excuses, and she missed their laughter in her quiet house. She sat by her kitchen window, tears falling as she looked at her drooping roses, wondering if she'd have to leave her home. But Ellen wasn't ready to give up. Was there a way Social Security could help her start over? Have you ever had to trust someone who let you down? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you handled it. Ellen's days grew heavy with worry. She tried to stretch her small savings, eating plain bread and turning off the air conditioning even when the Florida heat made her dizzy. Mark avoided her eyes, staying out late and leaving her alone in the house. She found old bank statements hidden in his room, proof he'd taken thousands of dollars from her checks over months. It felt like a knife in her heart. She confronted him, her voice shaking, but he yelled and stormed out, leaving her with nothing but silence. She called the bank, hoping to stop the theft, but they said it was too late for some of the money. The electric company sent a shut-off notice, and her medicine for arthritis was running low. Ellen couldn't afford to refill it, and her hands ached as she tried to water her roses with a cracked bucket. Neighbors brought her food, but she felt ashamed, like she'd failed as a mother. How did it come to this? She whispered to herself, sitting on her worn couch with a photo of Mark as a boy in her lap. The betrayal cut deeper than the money. Ellen had dreams of leaving something for her grandkids, little savings, maybe a garden they could enjoy. Now, she feared she'd lose her house, the place where she'd raised her family. Her daughter, Lisa, who lived across town, called more often, but Ellen didn't tell her the full story. She didn't want to burden Lisa, who was raising 2 kids on her own. Ellen's nights were long, filled with worry about where she'd go if the bank took her home. She felt like a ship lost at sea, with no land in sight. Ellen tried to fix things herself. She went to the local senior center, where a kind worker suggested she talk to Social Security. She called the number 1-800-772-1213, which she found on ssa.gov and explained what happened. The person on the phone was gentle, but said, "We can help, but you'll need to report the theft and show proof." Ellen didn't know where to start. She had some old checks and bank statements, but Mark had taken most of the records. How could she prove it? One afternoon, Lisa visited and saw the shut-off notice. "Mom, what's going on?" she asked. Ellen broke down, telling her everything. Lisa hugged her and said, "We'll figure this out together." They went to the senior center again, where a counselor helped Ellen file a report with the Social Security Administration, SSA. The counselor explained that Social Security can replace stolen checks and even investigate fraud like a shield to protect her money. Ellen felt a tiny spark of hope, but it came with a big worry. The SSA needed time to process her claim, and the bank was demanding payment in 30 days or they'd start foreclosure. Would Ellen get her money back in time to save her home? Or would she lose everything to her son's betrayal? Have you ever faced a money problem that felt too big to handle? Comment below and let me know how you found a way through it. Ellen and Lisa worked as a team. They gathered every scrap of paper, old bank statements, canceled checks, anything that showed Mark's theft. Lisa took photos and sent them to the SSA, while Ellen wrote a letter explaining her story. The senior center counselor called too, backing up Ellen's case. It was slow going, and Ellen's hands shook as she waited for news. The bank sent another warning, now just 20 days until foreclosure. And she started packing a box of her favorite things, just in case. Then, one morning, a letter arrived from the SSA. Ellen's fingers trembled as she opened it. "Your stolen benefits will be replaced," it said. They'd send her a new check for the months Mark took, plus her regular payment going forward. The SSA also promised to look into the fraud, like detectives tracking down a thief. Ellen sank into her chair, tears of relief mixing with the pain of Mark's actions. Lisa hugged her, saying, "You did it, Mom." The replacement check, over $5,000, paid off the overdue bills and kept the bank from taking her house. Ellen could turn the air conditioning back on and buy her arthritis medicine, feeling the ache ease a little. She planted new roses, their bright colors a sign of starting over. Lisa and the grandkids came more often, filling the house with laughter again. Ellen wasn't rich, but she had her home and her dignity back. The SSA also set up direct deposit for her checks, so no one could take them again. Ellen felt like she'd climbed a mountain with Social Security as her steady rope. She missed Mark, his smile from those old photos, but she knew she had to protect herself now. Ellen's journey teaches us 2 things. First, if someone takes your Social Security check, tell the SSA right away. It's like sounding an alarm. To get help, fast call 1-800-772-1213 or visit ssa.gov to report it. Second, use direct deposit for your payments. It's like locking your money in a safe, so only you can reach it. The SSA can help you set it up, keeping your check secure. House felt alive again. She sat on her porch with a cup of tea, watching her grandkids play in the yard. The roses bloomed, and she felt a quiet strength. She'd been hurt by her son, but Social Security gave her a second chance, like a new morning after a long night. Are you making plans to protect your future, or help someone else do the same? Share your ideas in the comments side. Love to hear from you. If Ellen's story touched your heart or taught you something new, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories like this. Ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. And if you've overcome a tough time, drop your story in the comments. We're all here to support each other.